Good evening. It's just gone 7 o'clock on a Tuesday, so you all know what that means. It's the Tuesday ticket on the Boise bus. And as always, on a Tuesday, I am joined by Phil McGinley and Regan Stevenson. Boys, I mean, I know the answer to this question, but how are we all doing?
Fantastic, mate.
I wonder why. Why we're feeling so fantastic.
I wonder indeed.
Because I'm seeing you, David, and Phil.
Oh well, apart from that, obviously, Regan, that goes without saying, mate. You know, we've managed to do these two Tuesdays in a row, mate. Who says we're slacking? They're lying if they said that.
Yeah,
we're no slacking. But
indeed.
We've got plenty to talk about, boys. Lots of breaking news in the last 5 minutes as well, which has completely wrecked my my notes for this evening. So up here though, don't you worry. Screenshot on the phone and all that. I'm sure all the people in the chat know exactly what I'm talking about, but we'll get round to that. But before we do that, time for all that good stuff. Give us a like, give us a share, buy some hair, become a Boise Bus member for a small cost of $1.99. It's completely optional. It's just your way of supporting the bus, keeping the wheels turning, keeping them on the road. No, there's no any extra content. It's like I said, it's just your way of supporting the bus if you so wish to, and no worries if not. You can also support us by subscribing and just telling all your friends, telling your granny, tell Jota he likes the podcast. Tell him.
It was great, David.
Yeah.
It was great to see last week that we finally got to the 5,000 mark as well.
We did, mate. We absolutely did. So a big milestone for the bus, 5,000 subscribers. But it won't stop there. We will keep pushing for more. We push for greatness because that's what we do on the bus. We grab that brass ring, Regan.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, aye.
Phil knows.
I
Right,
know,
guys.
yeah, I get it.
Right, guys. So we've got lots to talk about, Phil. So let's get cracking. PieSports.com. Tasty basic treats, 12.5% off at the checkout with bus 1888. Can't forget them. Can't forget them, guys. That would be rotten of me to do so. But let's get cracking. We've got loads to talk about. So, of course, the big news, the most exciting news, I think we should start with, Phil. And, of course, that is the return of Jota. Only last week we discussed that it was an absolute certainty that there was no chance. No chance.
Yep.
Jota was going to come back to Celtic. I'd even, because it's all factual what we discuss on the bus, especially on the Tuesday ticket, all the gossip, the news, and the hearsay. We'd read online that he'd done everything he needed to do in Scottish football, and he had no interest in returning to Celtic. Well, how wrong were we, Phil? Because only a week later we're discussing that Jota has returned. Madness. How are we feeling about this? This is just something in dreamland, surely.
It's mad. A really out there rumour actually came true. Because, yes, just a week ago on this exact show, you asked me and I went, I'd love it to happen, but it's probably just media being lazy, to be honest. And no, it came true. I mean, there was all these rumours. Careless whispers for the terms getting used in the run-up to it. Oh, there's a careless whisper about a winger coming in, the George Michael hints, the Wham hints, and it was like, nah, I just can't see it. It just seems like it won't happen. Think of the amount of players that we get linked with every summer that used to play for us. And now it's like, well, just like a bus, two could be coming along at once. It actually happened. Jota, first one, incredible. Absolutely incredible, man. Delighted for it. Obviously, there is a caveat to it. We need to discuss it a wee bit as well about who departed. It's a very strange deal as well that it's a swap deal, but it's not kind of a swap deal. It's weird how the clubs kind of went about it. But anyway, it's happened. The stars have aligned, and yeah, Jota's back in, and I'm delighted for it. I mean, this isn't a guy who's coming back at 34 years old. One last paycheck, one last run at Celtic. It's like, no, this boy's coming back. I think he's got a point to prove. I think what's happened in the last 18 months in his career is quite incredible that he has, I don't want to say fallen off because he's clearly still got the ability, but for whatever reason, the shambles that is the Saudi League at the best of times just put him back a couple of steps. But I think he'll come back here and he'll hit the ground running, and it's an exciting time. The options we've got now at winger are terrifying for any of our opponents coming up, man.
Yep.
Absolutely. And Regan, like Phil said it there, obviously he's had a torrid 18 months. Again, I wouldn't want to say that he's fell off a cliff. I think circumstances really didn't go his way. There was all this talk that Elliott had wanted to try and sign Salah, therefore, because of the rules of foreign player rules over in Saudi, they held up actually registering one of the first signings that they made in the summer in Jota to try and make room for Salah, which therefore made him unavailable to play in league games. He was able to play his cup games. And I think there was talk of him going out on loan in Saudi. I mean, he made a chunk of change, that's a definite. That didn't work out. Then the Rennes deal, which seemed a strange one, it got him back in Europe. It's in the French league, not doing particularly well. But I think there was an issue with the manager at the start. I think did he get sacked and then dropped immediately. So he's not had a lot of game time, Regan. But again, it's not about lack of ability. It's not like he just fell off a cliff and just his form went out the window. I just like he was given the opportunity at either club, Regan, which has then obviously affected his. We've got to talk about the physique and his fitness and all this kind of stuff. But we'll have to be patient, Regan. I think we will maybe need to be a bit patient, but we've got room to do so. He's back in training as we saw today. So, how are you feeling about it, Regan? Do you think he's going to hit the ground running, or are you quite happy just to ease him back into the ball?
Well, David, I'll be at the Dundee game next Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it is. So I hope he's played that game. And he'll ease himself back in then, because I think that'll be a good fixture for him to bed himself back in. I think he'll probably be the squad for Motherwell at the weekend, but I think Celtic have got a brilliant bunch of talent in wide areas, as Phil was saying there. So I don't think there's a massive rush to really bed them in right away. I think the great thing for us is we've got so many options. I mean, Brendan Rodgers about 5 or 6 years ago now said Celtic's got too many wingers, and I heard that my favourite source on Sky Sports is saying we're in for another winger. So it'll be interesting, David, to see if how Celtic go about it, because I think Jota, I totally get what you're saying about that. He's not played in a while, but I think if you look at it, David, Celtic spent £8 million to get this guy back in, and they sold him for 25. They've worked absolute magic. I mean, I've been on this bus for a long while. You know what I mean? And I said the board need to show ambition. And I think for the first time in a couple of years now, Celtic have shown ambition. Nobody can deny that under Brendan Rodgers, the board have shown proper ambition.
Mm-hmm. Before we go any further, I'm just picking this up now because he's digging me out, and I want to bring it up because I'm not.
He's not the first person to dig you out live.
Aye, they're all digging me out. David, did you not? Did I say to you we should get Jota back in the summer and you rubbished it? I didn't rubbish the idea of getting Jota back. I will just say that you're more, but I did rubbish the idea of going. You were wasting our time there, but there you go. Well done, you're more right again, as always. That's fine. I'll bring it up. That's fine. But I am more than happy to be wrong on this occasion. Absolutely.
And I think as well, David, we're getting a player that's great for as well, and he knows what Celtic can do for his time as a football player as well, because like he knows that in 2 or 3 years' time he can go to the English Premier League again, because he's still a very good age. It's not as if we're getting a guy at 25 years of age and he's over the hill, and and we're bringing in people, let's say Andy Robertson in probably 2 or 3 years' time, when he's going to be about 34 years of age. But we're bringing in Jota, and in his prime time, he's going to score goals against Rangers again. I can just see it. I was at that game when Celtic scored 4 and Matt O'Reilly put the ball through and Jota with the wee chip. That's probably still one of my favourite matches. So I think Jota is just probably going to enjoy it as well, as much as us, because he spoke about yesterday about he just wants to get back to playing football and enjoying it with the fans as well.
Absolutely. I mean, what I find funny about the whole thing, Regan, is you're saying that obviously Celtic are showing ambition there. I think, Phil, I mean, it's the first time Celtic have just tapped in an own goal, tapped in an open net. You know what I mean? It's like it's an open goal right there, and Celtic have tapped it in. Usually they would just sky it over the bar or put it sideways. It's been presented to us that a player that you sold for 25 million only 18 months ago is available. Do you want him? Yes, very much so. And we went out and got it. It's absolutely mind-boggling. It's almost as if, the conversation's been, hello, Mr. Celtic, we'd like to sign your Japanese forward. Is that possible? Well, let us try and qualify first. All right, cool, we'll come back to you. Oh, by the way, just while you're at it, what are you doing with that Jota guy that we used to have? Why, do you want him? Well, is it possible? Aye, sure, we could work something out. Cool, done. As easy as that. Look how easy it was. Can we just do that a little bit more times? Mr. Dembele, Mr. Edward.
There's that Edward name again getting called out. But
that's Regan Sources in a forum.
That is
Shut that guy up. Shut that guy up. He's giving it all away.
Your question. See, in terms of what people saying to me about if Kyogo wanted to go to a top 5 level, right? Now, I don't understand it, because for me, surely Daiezen Maeda and Rio Idah are proof that you don't need to go, but maybe the Japanese manager just doesn't rate Kyogo. Because he's moving from Celtic to a relegation battle. It's not as if he's moving to, say, a Lyon who are fighting for Champions League, or, he's not moving to somebody you can go, right, well, I can totally understand what he's doing there.
It's a higher standard.
We all love Kyogo, but let's be honest here. He's not getting signed by a Lyon, is he? Let's be honest. 30-plus striker now, playing in the Scottish League. He's over the hill at 30. Like, there's plenty of miles left in him. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely wonderful player, brilliant player, but he's not getting signed by a Lyon. It is going to be a Rennes. It looks like it was the only team that was really interested in him, unless you're talking about MLS side. So we have to take that into consideration. He's maybe just went, this is my last chance to play in a top 5 league. If this is the only option on the table, I'm wanting to take it. And he obviously did want to take it. Brendan Rodgers made it very clear. Look, we wanted to keep him. He wanted to go. He's probably he's wanted to go since the summer.
Yep.
He's held on, hopefully getting a move maybe of a Lyon-esque team. But unfortunately, it's been a bottom 3 French league side. And he's willing to bank on his ability that he can maybe pull Rennes out of this hole that they're in, and then get to play another season at a top 3 in a top 5 league with them. I mean, I think they're sitting second bottom. How close it is at the bottom of the table there, I don't know, but he's seen it as his last guy. He's been told by his international manager, for whatever reason, you're not getting picked ahead of these other strikers for Japan. You will need to move away from Celtic if you want regular options, and he's decided that's what he's going to do, Phil. And he goes with that. I think everybody's blessed, and I think there's a few people obviously concerned that we've let our best striker leave in January, but we do have a bit of a cushion there. And obviously, if I'm being honest, I do believe there will be a replacement in, whether it's a permanent option or a loan option. We can discuss that, Phil. What's best for Celtic to do just now regarding that, but I think I said Kyogo goes with everybody's blessing.
Oh, fair shadow of doubt. I mean, he's been fantastic for the last 3 years that we've had him. To 2021 he signed, so 3 and a bit years. He's been exceptional. At a time when we were pretty much on our knees after that COVID season, he was an exciting talent, and even though none of us had heard of him, but because of previous experience with having Nakamura, we knew the Japanese players are very, very exciting, very technical. So when this boy rocked up at Celtic Park that morning, when we all woke up, and because of the time zone difference, it was all over Twitter that Celtic had signed Kyogo Furuhashi from Vissel Kobe for $4 million. Obviously, Ange was pretty much just in the door a few months, and again, there was a real intrigue about it. And I think a lot of us just had a feeling that this guy's going to be good. This guy's going to be really good. And good he certainly was. Explosive, without a shadow of a doubt. What was it? Jablanek was his first goal, wasn't it, in the Europa qualifier against the Czech team. And then after that, he was away to the races. Has his form dipped since the Ange era? I know there's a lot of fans that blame Brendan Rodgers for that, but my answer back to them is Brendan Rodgers isn't the one missing the one-on-one chances on the park. He was still getting plenty of chances. But he was going to look at the Kilmarnock game just the other week. He's in one-on-one, running through on goal. Maybe too much time to think. Puts it by the post. Just what they think. He was, even under Angelo, he was still missing a lot of chances as well. But he would still pick himself up, keep going, and he would bag a hat-trick maybe. An explosive player, without a shadow of a doubt. He's contributed massively to our success in the last few years, and he goes with nothing but our blessings at all. He's fantastic, and we move on. The end of the day, one of the things that I've kind of struggled to get my head around is there's a lot of fans, David, that seem to be. It's similar to the thing with Ange right now that Russell talks about, where Ange seems to have a lot of Celtic fans still under a spell. You go on Twitter and it's like they can't say anything about Ange and all that. Kyogo wanted to go. The club have made that clear that Kyogo, for a few months now, I would say we can take a logical guess, David, probably when he changed his agent in the summer. It's no coincidence, right? So Brendan Rodgers came out and confirmed that. But there's a lot of fans are still in denial, like, no, the club's orchestrated this. The club's forced him out. There's no way that Kyogo would request a transfer. Kyogo's too nice a guy. He's too nice, David. That can't possibly be true. I've said the club came out and said that we wanted to look at that. Changing of agent usually means that there's a transfer in the works. Kyogo wanted to go. He wanted a new challenge, and that's it. I say, so be it. He's contributed massively to us. There are no hard feelings. It is football. It's the way it goes. We move on now. But what a player he was. You cannot doubt that for a second, mate.
Absolutely. And I think it's safe to say that we got the best years out of Kyogo. And I think it's probably fair to say, just by the proofs in the pudding, you look at the stats, he was slowly maybe on the decline. And we're getting £10 million for a player that's just turned 30 and you could argue is on the decline, albeit still a brilliant player. It's good business by the club. Absolutely good business. And we then look forward to see who Celtic bring in. But I think this is a good comment to bring up. Balls to the walls, 87. We need to find a way to get Jota and Maeda on the park at the same time as Kuhn. I'm buzzing Jota's back, bringing Fitzcarton, and boom, what a fucking team. Absolutely, but I want to focus on how do we find a way to get Jota and Maeda and Kuhn all on the park, because I know there's talk about whether Maeda would go through the middle, which is obviously a logical option because he can play there. And I could keep harking back to the only 2 times Maeda started it up front under Brendan Rodgers as a striker, he scored hat-tricks, which I seem to claim that he gets hat-tricks all the time, or I predict he's going to get hat-tricks all the time, and a clock's right at least twice a day. And those 2 times I was correct. But yeah, it's a difficult one, Regan, isn't it? Because Maeda's on the best form of his life, and then obviously we go and bring in Jota, who we know is an unbelievable player, and just based off of his previous time at Celtic, how do we fit them in the team? Because I know there's a lot of people going, well, we still need to go and get another striker. It's competition for places, and that's the most important part. The drop off in quality, Regan, when Maeda's not we'll just look at Villa coming up. Maeda's not able to play, therefore we're looking at Yang now, or Palmer. Yeah, the drop off is massive. Now, if we've got a Maeda not being able to play now, I know Jota's not able to play against Villa, but let's just say that he could. You're not as worried that Maeda's not able to play because Jota can just come straight in and you've got another quality player. We know that Jota can also play on the right-hand side. He played most of his time at Celtic on the right-hand side to compensate Maeda being on the left. So we know if Kuhn's not at it, we know that Jota can play on the right-hand side as well. So this is a good problem to have, and luckily enough, we don't get paid enough to worry about that. It's for Brendan Rodgers to figure out, Regan. But Balls to the Walls does have a great point there. Is there a way to find them all three playing on the pitch, or is it a case of competition? Just let it be competition.
I think it's a case of Brendan Rodgers will try different things. If Follow know as well as me, you've seen Brendan Rodgers in his first time, Brendan Rodgers really thrived in getting white players to really score goals in that way. Scott Sinclair was a big one. Paddy Roberts, James Forrest. You had loads of players. So I don't think it's a bad thing. We've got all these players. I think sometimes people can go, well, what's the point of getting Jota because we've got all these players? Well, I don't mean to be bad here, but I think there's a bit of forward planning here as well. I don't know about you, David, but I think there's a bit of forward planning because I think the next player to leave Celtic will be probably Rio Atati or Nicholas as well, who's a white player. I just genuinely think that that'll be something that the club will look at in the summer. And obviously we know that there's a bit of forward planning, but I think in terms of like Jota, Maeda and Nicholas, I think Brendan Rodgers will try all these different options. And the saying in football, David, is you can never have too many players who are very good to have in your team. Well, I think the only bad thing for tomorrow, David, is that we've not really got those options on the bench. So it'll be interesting to see if Yang can do well. Because as you say, see when I brought up, what's his name? Who's the guy for Dundee? Owen Beck. Last week you said Yang did well against him. So I'm looking forward to see Yang put a 10 out of 10 performance against Paul Torres and Digne and all those players.
That said more about Owen Beck than Yang, though, to be fair, Regan.
Come on, David.
That says more about Owen Beck than it does Yang. The only defender to get ripped silly by Yang. Stephen, why are you looking at Yang, who doesn't score or assist? Palmer was our top winger last season for goals and assists, including 2 goals in the Champions League. You're absolutely right, Stephen, but the reason I'm looking at Yang is because our manager does...
Ask Brendan Rodgers that
question.
Brendan that question, because Palmer's just a bit part player off the bench every so often. Yang, if there's a hole in the winger positions, Yang seems to be the one that he turns to all the time. So it's our manager that needs to answer that one.
Question, Stephen. It's a brilliant question.
And to be honest, lads, I think Palmer will be departing this window as well, because I don't think he'll be there if Jota, Maeda, Nicholas and obviously James Forrest to come back as well. So I don't really see place for Lewis Palmer now.
I mean, all the talk about him leaving has went quiet at the minute, Regan, but there's still plenty of time in the window for that to happen. Speaking of wingers, obviously this is the news, the gossip and the hearsay show, so we will talk about some news regarding that. I'm aware to butcher another foreign player's name. It's a feature on the bus.
Drum roll, please.
I hope you all enjoy it. But Celtic make opening bid for Sarpsborg winger Oyaristar. Sondre Oyaristar.
Right.
That's all right. That sounds Norwegian.
I'll accept it. Aye.
So Celtic have made an opening bid for Sarpsborg's winger Sondre Oyaristar. Sky Sports News revealed earlier this month that the Hoops have been in talks with the Norwegian club over a potential deal for the 21-year-old. It's understood that Sarpsborg have been looking for a fee of around £7 million, with Fiorentina, Parma and Nice also registering their interest. He's got 2 years left on his current contract. Celtic want to get a deal done before next week's transfer deadline, as they look to strengthen their options in the wide areas and find possible long-term replacements for Lewis Palmer and James Forrest. Now, he's a left-sided winger, and he's played 38 games this season or last season with 5 goals and 5 assists. I think their season's over. So, interesting one, Phil, that he's a left-sided. So that makes the question. Well, I'm sure he could play both sides, but according to this, he's a left-sided attacker, or he played predominantly on the left side. Does that mean that Jota is? If this is the case, let's say this guy comes in. Does that mean Jota's the competition for the right hand side again, or is it just a case of they can all play there? Because again, people are saying, "Oh well, what if we're looking to sign this guy?" Here's comment here that's saying that if the Norwegian winger for £7 million signs, it makes me think Kuhn's interested in other teams. So there's no doubt he is interested in other teams. We know that. Whether he leaves in the summer, who knows? But again, we're talking about the quality of drop off. If Maeda's not fit or Kuhn's not fit, it's just stacking up some good quality competition on the wings for me, Phil. I'd be happy. I mean, I don't know anything about the guy. other than what I've read this morning. So I've not even looked at clips of him on YouTube yet, because that's how we scout players now.
You'll want him even more when you do that, mate.
Oh, is he good? Is it?
Oh, it's just YouTube clips, mate. As soon as you watch YouTube clips, better than Messi, better than Cristiano Ronaldo. Get him signed.
Get him signed. Yang look good on YouTube too. Well, it's a £7 million winger to sit on the bench. What really? That means Kuhn's away. No, I think Brendan's just really trying to play some football now. Like time to just we're playing Champions League with the big boys now. We want to go and sign quality players for competition. Phil.
I think we need to be fluid in terms of options. It's like football shouldn't be so black and white that, if he's this side, that means that this guy's away and whatnot. We should have players that can rotate up front. If Nicholas Kuhn, his favourite move, obviously, is doing the old classic Arjen Robben move, coming in from the right onto his left side and try to bend it into the net. But how many games have you watched this season when Nicholas Kuhn has tried to do that and defenders have just kept on sort of sticking with him, staying goal side, and he takes another touch and another touch, and he keeps going and going, and then before you know it, the chance is gone or the pass is gone. Don't get it wrong, when he gets it right, i.e. like the RB Leipzig game, it's fantastic. Cuts in, bends it into the top corner. But, teams will cordon on eventually, or they're playing a left-footed player out on the right-hand side. Well, we know what he's going to do, because it's very rare that our wingers get to the byline and try and cross it. We usually leave that for like Alistair Johnson to do, or Alex Value is doing it. Greg Taylor sometimes does it, but Alistair Johnson likes that. We kind of rely on the fullbacks to hit the byline and get a cross in. But with the wingers, it's more cut inside on your stronger foot. So for me, it's like if this boy's coming in, again, Regan, you could be right with saying it could be forward planning. This is Celtic, and I know where we are on the food chain. I know how it works now. I've seen it enough times. After a few good years, players move on. It happens. Sometimes they come back, like Jota does. But yeah, Nicholas Kuhn's been phenomenal this season. There will be suitors looking at him. And yeah, this boy might be that. But while he is here, if he does come in, let's say he does come in January, let's say Celtic do go and get this guy, and then you've got Kuhn, Maeda, Jota, the new boy. We've still got James Forrest and whatnot. We've still got a lot of options there at winger. Maybe Yang will still be sticking around as well. You just like to think that there's a bit of fluidity there, because again, when you're out on the park, you can change it up and keep defences guessing and whatnot. Because yeah, you will become very predictable eventually if your players keep doing the same moves. So the opportunity to move them from different positions is something I think Celtic should be looking at, and I think they will. Because again, I say football shouldn't be so black and white nowadays. That he's for that position, only for that position. It's like, no, we can mix it up a wee bit. So I'd like to think that that's the plan, but that is probably an element of truth to what Regan's saying about there could be some forward planning going on there again with Celtic, which, in fairness, isn't something Celtic tends to do. They do tend to let these players, they can get caught cold sometimes with the players moving on. So if they are looking ahead to it, then yeah, I guess that will be that then.
Speaking of players moving on, Stephen Ray, why are we not talking about KT signing their P contract that's confirmed by Brendan? We've got an hour show to fill in, Stephen, so we're getting there, mate.
Yeah, mate. We're only 29 minutes in. We're only 29 minutes in, my man.
It's a main event, brother. You want it early?
Yeah,
we're getting there. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Alex Valley's loan spell at Celtic is coming to an early end, with the left-back set to join Italian side Como. It's also been confirmed by Brendan Rodgers that he's in Barcelona sorting that out. Okay, so the move follows a verbal agreement between Barcelona and Como, with the deal now awaiting the completion of formalities. Valley's departure raises fresh speculation about potential return for Kieran Tierney to Celtic Park, either this month or in the summer. We now know for a fact that Kieran Tierney is coming back in the summer. What were the comments he said again? It was basically, look, if we can try and get it done in this now, we will try. But he's still an Arsenal player. But it's confirmed that he's coming back in the summer. So happy days. We can talk about that now. Okay. So Regan, Valley's away. Quickly sum up what your thoughts were on Valley's contributions to Celtic in the 6-month loan that we had him.
I think he's done okay. I think he's been the perfect backup for Greg Taylor. I think Greg Taylor's done well, but I think Valley's been that proper competition that we probably didn't have for the last 2 or 3 years under, and for Bernabeu, obviously. So I think Valley, he's done the the job that was asked of him, and I think that's all you can say about him right now. I think he's done everything that the club wanted him to be. He's provided proper competition for Greg Taylor.
Yes, well, it was 13 games, 5 assists, so he's done reasonably well. He's done reasonably well. Of course, Regan, like I said, the manager has confirmed that Kieran Tierney will return. It was also confirmed on Sky Sports News minutes before we came on the air. Delighted with the news of that. I mean, it was the worst kept secret in football, Regan, but he's definitely coming back in the summer. Will he come before then? Well, that's what we're going to discuss, Regan. That's what I want to discuss, because it was also confirmed tonight that the 3-match ban for the young left-back at Arsenal, Miles Skelly? Is that his name?
Yep.
That's been lifted. So now there's no concern of a 3-match ban for him. There's talk of Sechenko leaving to go to Dortmund as well. So that did throw a wee spanner in my thinking that Kieran Tierney might not get to come in this window, but with the fact that they've got that Julian Timber and they've got the Skelly, who's now not going to have a 3-match ban, they've got plenty to cover at left back.
And also,
I like to think Celtic will ask the question, Regan.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely ask the question, and I think Tierney will be a big driver on that. And what I'm told is Tierney wants to come back right away. So I think it all comes down to about Zinchenko. I think if Zinchenko goes, then I think it might be in doubt. But also, I don't understand it, because as Phil will know it, being a watcher of Mikel Arteta's team, Zinchenko's been in the squad for about 2 years over Kieran Tierney. So I just don't understand why he's suddenly changed his mind on that.
Yeah, it's some. I think I said that on Friday night. I was saying it's weird how all of a sudden, Mikel Arteta's kind of made it clear that Tierney's not got a future. Loaned him out to Sociedad last season. It seemed like he was out in the cold over a year ago. And suddenly now, as soon as Kieran Tierney's in demand from us, of all people, suddenly Tierney's finding his way back in. The other night as well, he played in the European game against Zagreb. It turns out that even though he's now played the Champions League game, he can still be registered for us for the latter stages if he does come in January, because I thought with UEFA, with their rules. But again, I was kind of thinking, is Arteta up to a wee bit of mischief here? Like, what's going on here? What is this?
I ask you, do you think he's putting a bit of mischief because it is Celtic? Do you think
I don't know, man. I just don't feel like Arteta's getting that much an axe to grind against us. I don't know. I think that's a bit. I think Russell suggested that a few weeks ago. He was on a Friday feeling with me and Liam, and he suggested that, and I'm like, I don't feel that Arteta was at Rangers long enough to have a real dislike for us that's lasted this long.
He still did say he enjoyed it so much. It was the best, one of the best times of his life being a Rangers. So.
All right, okay. It was only 2 years he was there as well. Yeah, well, I suppose with the money he was getting from certain means, I suppose it would be the best time of his life, I guess. There we know about that. So,
speaking of money, there's always this talk about whether, Celtic willing to pay half of the wages. And I mean, if Kieran Tierney's that desperate to come, could there not be a just termination of the contract? Just say, look, don't worry about the wages. Is he really that bothered about the wages for 6 months? I mean, it's easy for me to say, sitting here on my PC going, Tierney, just rip up your contract and come back to Celtic. But if it's a case of, like, if he really wants, Tierney could push for this, surely.
Yeah.
They've got, and like your mod says, they've got Sechenko, they've got Timber. I forgot about that
Calafiore.
Yeah. I forgot about him. I think even Tomiyasu
can play left back as well. They've got a few options.
Is he injured as well, Tomiyasu?
I think he
regardless, there's still three other players.
They've got a lot of options, though. They've got a lot.
They can. So if Tierney can push for this, and to be honest, I know there's a lot of talk like, knowing Celtic, that's it. Then we'll scales at left back. On recent sort of evidence here, I think Celtic are going to try and push out and try and get Tierney. I think the only thing that's stopping us getting Kieran Tierney on loan is Arteta and Arsenal.
Yep, because
I think Celtic will do the job if they can get it.
I think it was quoted on TNT last week that by Celtic winning that match against Young Boy, they get £3 million. So surely spend that money on Tierney coming in.
They wouldn't let Valley. I just don't think. Now I don't know how loans work that well, Bill, but I'm pretty sure the agreement with Barcelona was we've got him for the year unless we choose to give him back. You know,
I think that's
I don't
true.
think Barcelona can just turn around and say like we want, unless there was like an emergency at left back for them, which there obviously wasn't.
Yeah,
They're giving him. They're taking it back off us to give him on loan to Como, but with a €6 million agreement there to buy him as well if they want. Now, I don't think Celtic would go. I just have him back if we're just going. We're just going to play Scales at left back, who we could have just got to play there all season. You know, do you know what I mean? Like there was umpteen times we discussed going, why doesn't Scales just play left back? Well, because he's at the time being our best left sided centre back. So I don't know why we would just go right. Okay, we'll just play Greg Taylor and Liam Scales for the rest of the season. And I do think Celtic are going to try and get this done. And if I'm being honest, I think it will be done.
It's playing out exactly how I thought it would when we initially linked them. I think I mentioned it again a few weeks back on the Friday film. Me and Russell and Liam were talking about it, saying the priority is first to get the pre-contract signed. That gives you, as the club, and also the player, a bit of leverage to then go back to Arsenal and say, oh, go on, Arsenal, come on. You're not going to use him anyway. Come on, just send him on loan to us, because I mean, I'm surprised that he has been getting some games recently. I genuinely thought he was that far out in the cold, but yeah, for whatever reason, obviously injuries or whatnot, he snuck in there. But ultimately, once those players are back, Tierney's just going to be finding himself sitting in the stands anyway. So it's a case of they may as well just, send them on loan. I think it will happen, but I think we're going to be waiting till late on deadline night before it's official. You're talking about, will Celtic go back and ask the question? I think they have, and I think it's happened before this. I don't think it's happened in the last couple of days. I think it's been asked for a couple of weeks now, and it's just now that they've got the deal signed. I say they've got some leverage now to try and push it through, because he'll go back to sitting in the stands week in, week out in a couple of weeks' time, mate.
I think David's spot on in terms of, I don't think Celtic would let Vai go if they didn't have something in mind. And I think Tierney is the option.
I think so too. And again, I smell like I've saying the same thing. He thinks the red card overturn for wee Skelly will change things and get the Kieran Tierney here by Monday night. Well, here's hoping. Don't go to bed just yet, Celts. That's what we'll get.
You putting your tie on next Monday for the big deadline? Are you putting your tie on?
I've lost that tie in the move, if I'm honest.
Yeah, when you get the yellow ties out or something. Wear something yellow, man. I'm wearing yellow tonight. So
when is the deadline Monday?
It's Monday night.
It'll be the judge and Mick and Pam. They'll get their yellow ties on.
Yeah, they can get the yellow ties on. Aye,
Monday they can get their yellow ties on. They can.
If it's Monday, well, it's technically a Tuesday, David. So.
Yeah, I've got work in the morning. I can't be sitting up to midnight waiting on Celtic, dragging it out. Come on.
Just sitting there like that.
Where the fuck? Like, come on. Honestly.
Angry. That would be the most angriest Monday night show of all time.
Jesus.
Just everybody just on there just raging that Tierney hasn't turned up when we've all said that he would. But who knows?
Yeah,
he might do. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. Well, I mean, that's pretty much all the news that I've got. We've got plenty of time left. We've still got, that's because Stephen Ray's rushed me along to get the talk. Stephen, look what you've done. We've done the show, Stephen Ray.
But luckily for you, David, we've got a massive game happening this time tomorrow night. The final Champions League game against the Villa. And I'm excited. I think it's the one that stood out on the fixture list when when the fixture list came out, was that the one that you guys instantly went to right away? Because for me, I was like, yes, because I love Celtic playing English teams. I love it. So, yeah, I kind of wish it was at Celtic Park. I wish the fixture was reversed. But those going down to Birmingham, I'm sure they'll have a fantastic time. It'll be a good atmosphere, because I said at the time when the draw came out, when we were talking about English teams we wanted to get, like the teams that are in on the regular, your Arsenals, Man City's, Liverpool's, their fans don't really care at this stage. But Aston Villa, this is all new to them. The Champions League is a whole new experience to them. So they'll be loving every single game. It was the same with Newcastle last year. Their fans would absolutely loved it. So when I was looking at teams that I wanted Celtic to get just for a great atmosphere and a great night, this one stood out, and Aston Villa came out in the fixture list. So it's all set up to be a box office one because Villa have got something to play for. They obviously want to get into the top 8. And that may be good or bad for us. I don't know. Maybe it'll leave them exposed at the back. Maybe they'll be attacking us all night. Maybe we can get in behind. Who knows? But we've qualified though, so technically it's a bit of a free hit for us. But it's an intriguing one. I'm really looking forward to this.
Are you glad that it's now a bit of a, I don't want to say a dead rubber because there's still things to play for. I know Aston Villa are desperately wanting to try and get into the top 8. I think the odds are stacked against us, but if results went our way and we beat Aston Villa, we could sneak in there. I'm not sure how the math
If
works.
results have to go away, we're 18th just now, I think.
Yeah, it would be a big ask.
A lot of teams above us have got to drop points.
Yeah, so that's not going to happen. But like we're basically going there with just go out and enjoy it, and for the occasion that is. But are you glad it's went that way? When you first seen that fixture, obviously you're saying like, "Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing to be playing Aston Villa." That's a great tie. But are you glad that it's out the way now? We can just there's not really any pressure on us to go. You still want to go out there and win, obviously. And obviously the fact that it's a Premier League team, you want to go out and put on a good account of yourselves. But I'm glad that it's kind of like it's not that big a deal what the result is. If I'm honest, Phil.
Yeah, it's exactly that. When it came out, we got Aston Villa initially, brilliant. But then I saw it was the last fixture, so naturally, being a Celtic fan and without experience in Europe, what was the first thing that went through my head? We're going to have to go to Villa Park in the last game to get something, aren't we? It's just setting up that way. Then a few of the recent results after getting the great result against Leipzig, we failed to beat Bruges, we failed to beat Zagreb, and you're like, this is going to go down to Villa Park, isn't it? And obviously against Young Boys of Bayern last week, it was squeaky bum time with the way the game was panning out. And again, you're just like, oh, please God, no. Don't tell me we've got to go to Villa Park next week and get something. But we got the goal. We got it. And I think it just gives us a freedom tomorrow night. I'm delighted it's went that way. Because, again, our aim at the start of this tournament was just to be in the top 24. Obviously, the higher the better. I get that. But to me, there's no easy draw at all. We could talk about the higher up, the better seeding and stuff like that. I think every team's going to be tough regardless of what we get. So we've achieved our goal of getting in a top 24. So for me, it's just like, let's go and have some fun. Let's go and see how it goes. They want to get that top 8. They want it because Premier League team, the money's so big down there. They don't want an extra 2 games to play. They want to skip over that round and get a bye into the next round. So for them, sitting 9th right now, they'll be out to win. I say it might leave them exposed. From what I've heard as well, they've got an injury crisis at the back. Yep. The only fit centre-back they've got for the first team is Ezri Konsa. So there could be a couple of reserve or like fringe players playing there. But the guy who also concerns me is John Duran. This guy is a phenomenon. This guy is excellent. He some of the goals he's been scoring this season, he looks deadly. And obviously we're missing a centre back as well. So that could be a bit tricky.
Regan, with all that's been said there in terms of what Villa need to do to and where what could be a great part of the season for them to get into the top 8. Does that, despite it being a dead rubber in our eyes in terms of we've qualified, does it still strike a little bit of fear in you in what Villa are, what they are capable of doing? And I know we're saying about an injury crisis here, but when Phil's touched on it, like the players like Duran, Watkins, Bailey, the likes of these sort of players that they have on the attacking front, John McGinn, they pose a big threat. They do pose a big threat. And with a manager that knows how to navigate through European ties, is there any concern for you that we could be on the end of a hiding here like Dortmund? Or has Celtic shown enough this season for you that we can hang with Villa even at Villa Park?
I'm just hoping we get through to half time and the score for Fred David. I just don't want us to go down there and embarrass ourselves, because I think people are saying that the Aston Villa or this or that, whatever. But Aston Villa are a team that beat Bayern Munich. They're still a very good team, and people can say they've got an injury crisis, they got beat by Monaco and that. But when you think of the teams that they managed to beat over the last 4 or 5 years, like Chelsea, Man City, all these top quality teams. I just think Villa Park's a very tough place to go. Like Phil was saying, that other European night is going to be special for them as well, because I think the kind of the all British game, that kind of makes it more for Celtic, because we want to show them that the Scottish football is not as bad as people talk about. But I think Aston Villa, I think they'll be right up for it. But so will we. But I'm just hoping that
Celtic, mate, yeah.
But I'm just hoping that we don't get into half time and we're 3 or 4 down, and I just want us to go there and do well. I know Stephen Ray said that I think if we get beat, we've got Brest or is it PSG? So I mean, I don't know about you, David, but I fancy a bit of Brest or PSG. So like, I think. So I'm just looking forward to overall, because, and I think it's a great test for the players as well, because it shows the progress they've made, because I was like, see, after the very first match in Europe, people were talking about Brendan Rodgers' style doesn't work in Europe. Brendan Rodgers has got the worst record for any manager in Europe, and he's totally changed that. So I'm just glad that the players have got that freedom, as Phil was saying there.
Mm-hmm. We've got whether people like it or not, we've got a Premier League quality manager there managing our team. He's managed against Villa umpteen times, beaten them plenty. Guys won the FA Cup down there. He knows how to navigate these games, and at least Celtic will be more than up for this. The players will be up for this, because the players like Kuhn and that, they'll see this as putting themselves in the shop window. I'm not meaning like they want to get away from Celtic, but we're not daft. We know where Celtic are in the hierarchy of where players want to be playing.
Yeah,
players like Kuhn and Hatate, they've all expressed desire to go and play at that level. So they know there'll be eyes on them. Scouts will be watching. They will be up for it, so that they are able to hang with the likes of Villa. And like it has been said in the chat, these guys aren't the giants of Premier League. We're not going up against a Man City here, or a Liverpool right now, or even an Arsenal. We're going up against a very good Premier League side, but they're also very capable of getting beat by the likes of like a Monaco and Celtic. We're more than capable, I think, of getting a result there. But yeah, I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be a good game, regardless. So it'd be nice to be able to watch the game, and just feeling no pressure about it.
Yeah,
you want them to show a good account of themselves, Phil, and not getting bars like Regan says. I don't think they will. I think the Dortmund result, the more we look, the further we've gone down this tournament so far, was just a bit of a bad day at the office that it just got away from us, and I don't see that happening. I think we've got more than enough quality in the team to cause them damage. And if there's talk of CCV not making it tomorrow, and you know what, see if he's not fit to play, then just don't play him. I don't want to risk him for the rest of the season and the latter part of the tournament, just to play in a game that we're already qualified for. We saw already this season that Trusty and Scales can play well together at this level. Could argue Atalanta's a better side than Villa. A totally different podcast, I'm sure. But if that's going to be our centre back pairing, then so be it. I'm not gonna sweat over that too much, Phil.
Yeah, it could be with the pressure being off. We don't. I'd say this could be famous last words, right? And before I say this, when we've played English teams in my lifetime, we don't tend to get an absolute doing. I think the worst one that comes to mind is maybe the 2 legs against Arsenal. We played in the qualifiers against Tony Mowbray's one. I think over the 2 legs, I think we lost 5-1. But we tend to do all right against them. So I don't think tomorrow, I can't see a Dortmund type thing happening to us. And I think we all give a good account of ourselves, because as you say, Brendan Rodgers has managed against Aston Villa. Granted, yes, teams change over the years and whatnot, but while you were talking to Regan there, I looked up some of his results in recent years when he was Leicester manager. And it's when he went down to Leicester, his first full season against them, he beat them 4-1 at Villa Park and 4-0 in Leicester. His last game against Aston Villa as Leicester manager in February of 2023, they won 4-2 at Villa Park, Leicester City, despite being relegated that season. So one of his last victories he got was a decent win at Villa Park. So he's taken teams there to Villa Park and won convincingly in the past as well. So is that a good omen? Who knows? See, the team that Villa have got now, a bit of injury, their form isn't as good as what it was last season. Say nerves might get the better of them as well, because to me, the pressure's on them. The pressure is on them. Everyone, media and whatnot, will all, and their fans will be so expectant of them to just dust aside the little team from Scotland, jocks, just dust them aside. We'll show them what we're all about. That's what they'll be going in with, that mentality. Their fans will be very much demanding that they put us to the sword. So I say we could catch them cold here. I love that we're going in with no pressure on us at all. Because I say it doesn't matter where we finish the table, it's going to be a difficult draw regardless. We'll take whoever we get. Because beggars can't be choosers, David. At this stage, we've been so far out of the Champions League for years when it comes to the knockout stages. Whatever we get, and we'll just take it head on. So yeah, I'm say tomorrow it's going to be good, man. Brendan Rodgers, he'll be cool and calm about it. He'll drill that into the players. So I'm very, very excited about it, man, and what we're going to see tomorrow night.
Yes, it's definitely an exciting fixture. I didn't know this. It's just a wee Martin Weir saying that Emery was in charge of Moscow when we beat them. I didn't.
Do you know?
I did not
he
know
said
that.
tonight. I heard on his press conference tonight. He said, "I managed against Celtic," and I was like, "When did we manage that?" And yeah, it is. It was Spartak Moscow.
Spartak Moscow.
Was
that
that
the game Super Samurai? So
that was the game, right? This is the game, right? Because Aidan McGeady, now as we mentioned, Aidan McGeady mentioned this when he was on Open Goal. He said, I don't know if it was that game, but Emery was the Moscow manager when we did beat them 3-2. But I think it might have been a different game. Like, he got sacked in the dressing room by the chairman after the game. I don't know if it was the one when we beat them, but Aidan McGeady talked about it on one of the very early episodes of Open Goal with Cy Ferry. And he said it was this weird moment where Emery was in the changing room, obviously giving us a dressing down after defeat. The chairman came in. They got into a blazing argument. He just sacked him there on the spot. And then, so it's Moscow. But I don't think it was when we beat them. That would be quite funny if we got Emery the sack. But I think it was a different game. But yeah, ruthless. The chairman just walked in, had an argument with him in front of the players and just sacked them then and there. So yeah, that's how he ended. But yeah, Moscow, it caught me out when he said it earlier on, Regan, on the press conference. So I've managed against Celtic, and I was like, I was going for these Spanish teams. I was like Valencia, Sevilla, Villarreal. I was going for all these different teams. Like, when did we play him?
Was that the game at home Chris Cummins scored, or was that the one away?
Well, I don't know if he got sacked after he played us, but I'm talking about how he did get sacked at Moscow around about that time, though, was with the chairman just walked in and sacked him in the dressing room afterwards. But yeah, we beat them home, we beat them away that season. I don't know if Emery was in charge when we had the second leg at Celtic Park. I'm not sure if he was still in charge at that point. But he was definitely in charge for the one in Moscow, definitely.
James Kennedy, I hope I'm not hiding behind my sofa tomorrow. I don't think there's any need to be, James. Enjoy it, mate. We'll smash them. They're shite.
Famous last words. I say with the pressure being off, it is. There's no need to hide behind the sofa. Obviously, we still want to give a good account of ourselves. We don't want to get turned over like we did in Dortmund. We don't want that. But I think we'll cause them a few problems tomorrow night, definitely.
I think, like I said, go out and express yourself. I do. It is gutting that Maeda got himself sent off and isn't able to play, because I do think like he would have caused them some serious problems, especially with them leaving. They'll leave plenty of gaps in behind, I think. But Kuhn can step up and do that. He's not done much since that Leipzig game.
Balls to the wall said it, mate. Yang masterclass on the cards, mate. There you go. This is it. This is the coming of age of Yang. This is it.
Yang's just been waiting for it. He's like, I'm not playing until we play Villa. When Villa turns, I'll smash them. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, man.
But I'm just going to call it there, because it's we've got 5 minutes left, and we'll usually run over. You usually get a bit extra because Regan doesn't let me get my tea and just wants to keep chatting, don't you, Regan? So I'm gonna call it early. But before we do, We'll give our predictions. We'll give our predictions, Regan. So go on, mate. Be positive prediction here.
What my head and my heart, David?
Oh, mate. Well, both. I
My
always want your heart, mate.
says 2-1. My head says 3 or 4-1 to Villa.
All right, Regan. Right, Phil, give us a good one.
I will say that it will be a 2-2 draw, an exciting Desmond 2-2, mate. That's what I'm going for. Yeah, a point's fine with me. I say I'll happily take that. I think I will score definitely. I will catch them out at some point. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. But at the end of the day, we're through. That's all that matters. Let's just go and have some fun, mate.
That's it, mate. That's all that matters. Well, wherever you're watching the game, if you're going down to Birmingham, enjoy yourselves, behave,
Enjoy yourself,
all
aye.
that stuff. Don't get yourself into any bother. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do, all that part. And or just enjoy it from your living room, which is what I'll be doing, or the pub, whatever. Enjoy it regardless. We're through. That's all that matters.
Yep.
And of course, big Adam Idah with a wee own goal to just lighten the mood as well. How about that? Right. See you later, guys. Thanks for joining us. I hope you all enjoyed and kept the schedule and all that kind of stuff.
No worries, right, guys. We shall see you on the next one. See you then.
Cheers, bye.